Hi everyone, this is my second post for the Literature Circle discussion on the crossover, which again I had to force myself to stop reading because I was really into it. My specific points for the book, one thing that I noticed that as soon as you start reading the second quarter, you notice how much life starts to change for Josh. The biggest change so far is that his relationship with JB is no longer the same as it was now that JB is dating Miss Sweet Tea. Because now he sits alone at lunch when he used to sit with his brother, arguing over basketball players. He used to walk home with his brother after practice, but now he walks home by himself because JB's with his girlfriend, and he finds his brother kissing her in the library. So it's like I feel like Josh feels that his brother is growing up, and because Josh doesn't have that yet, he may feel like kind of in a sense like left behind. His life is also changing because he learned the truth about his family history, and the risk of like heart disease and stroke, because his mom sat him down after his one game to have the serious talk with him. When up until that point, whenever he had a victory, he always got his special meal with all these unhealthy foods, but now like they need to be a lot more conscious of what they are eating. And also the stuff he used to do with his dad, going to get donuts and Krispy Kremes, which they did when they were with the dad, but now they can't do that anymore because they're trying to be more health conscious. And even though that's not like a big change, it's still a change, which is no one likes change, especially young people. It also seems that things just are starting not to go right for Josh, because his relationship with his brothers is becoming strained, and you can kind of feel the frustration that Josh is feeling. He gets pulled over on the way to his game, and he isn't allowed to start in the first game, so things are starting to continue to change and not necessarily go right. It also, my fourth specific point, it seems like there may be some foreshadowing happening at this point in the book. For one, with his dad, after he talks with Josh talks with his mom about like his dad's health and stuff. His dad has the episode of the mini heart attack, or I'm not quite exactly sure what it was, but it might be an indication of something that might be happening in the future, especially after Josh has a vision of JB in the hospital, and JB must have had a similar vision, because Josh says on page 113, I quickly open my eyes, turn around, and see him, JB, looking dead at me like he's just seen a ghost. So it seems like something may happen, something serious may happen at some point in the future. And a specific point, number 5, even though the book is, we already know it's written using poetry, like I've noticed that there's more than one type of poem used throughout the different chapters in the book, which I really like. It's not all the same. There's a lot of variety, which helps keep it fun and engaging and different. For personal experience, I, at 35, can somewhat relate to Josh at this point in the story, just because there's times that I can't help to compare myself to other people my age, where it feels like they're getting everything they want and they're moving ahead, and there are times when I feel like I'm kind of just stuck in the same place. So I know as an adult, if I, can relate to Josh in this book, who's a teenager, I know that kids it'll resonate with them really well too, because a lot of young readers, um, especially in middle school, feel the same thing. One thing for my discussion that I keep noticing throughout the book that I really like is that Kwame Alexander keeps introducing new vocabulary words throughout the book that young readers may not be familiar with, and instead of, like in some other books, just continuing along and leaving it up to the reader to either use context or to take it upon themselves to look the meaning up in the dictionary. I really like that the author not only informs the reader of the meaning of the word in like a dictionary format with the definition, but also the word broken up into syllables and the pronunciation. But he also gives the reader an example of the word when he says that as in, and gives an example. And I really like that it's still, the author is still making sure that it's coming from Josh. Like Josh is still explaining to explains to us what the word means. So I feel like I really like that he does that. I feel like it really helps. It could help. I mean, it helped me with some words, but it could definitely help teenagers and young readers when it comes to reading the book. And I think that it would be an interesting activity to try in the classroom, to have students create a vocabulary poem, I guess, following this type of format when they are introduced to new academic words or any type of vocabulary words throughout instruction in their classes, to introduce them to also different types of poetry and getting them used to writing different types of poetry instead of the traditional poetry that they find in most books and in most classes. So again, I'm enjoying this book, and I'm excited to see where it goes. Happy Saturday, and I hope you all have a great weekend. Thanks.